What's going on, team? Proof here, and welcome to the stream recap from yesterday. And I asked people if they still enjoyed these or if they're still helpful, and the vast majority of people said they still find it helpful. So hopefully, even though it might come out a day later or later on Tuesday, that you still find the update pretty helpful. So I'm going to hop into it. So as always, I'm going to start with the news, and then I'll go into the card reveals for the day. And then there was something, I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was busy and it snowed here. So I was dealing with that. But apparently Dr. O was out, so they only had the voiceover guy and he wasn't on the screen. So I think that affected the news that they had for the day. So I don't think there was any actual news coming from the stream because the people in my Discord that accumulate the information didn't put any particular news out. But there was a piece of information that came out between card of the day and the stream that I wanted to show to everybody. The English release date for Astral Force, which is April 3rd, which is about a month after Teams Dragon Vanity comes out March the 6th. So if you're a fan of both of the, or if you're a fan of clans that are within both of the sets, I feel sorry for your wallet because a month in between releases is kind of tight sometimes for people. So hopefully you get what you need from Team Dragon's Vanity, and then get what you need from Astral Force. I'll be looking out for what Genesis has to offer because Genesis is kind of a little pet deck for me. I haven't built the current Valkyrian deck, but I have kept my eye on it. So I look out for what it has to offer coming up in the future. And kind of went quickly into the card reveals, and this week's card reveals was centered around Pacifica. So if you're a fan of Pacifica, this is the stream and this is the recap for you. So the first card we have is Top-End Mascot Elio, and her skill says auto on Vanguard or Rear Guard, on place, counterblast 1. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 top idol Pacifica or Refined Poiser Arusha, which is the grade 3, the next card that I want to talk about. Each from amongst them and add it to your hand, then shuffle. If your Vanguard and your opponent's Vanguard are grade 1, you may Soul Blast 1 as the cost instead. So if you go second, you can Soul Blast 1 as opposed to Counterblast 1, which is really huge and is really cool design by Bushiroad to do something where it gives you flexibility and cost depending on your turn order there. And it kind of is pretty much guaranteed to go off at least early game because you're likely going to have one counter blast if you go first to use it, or you're definitely going to have the soul going second to use it. So really cool flexibility and cost. I really want to see more cards like that. And in terms of the skill itself, being able to Soul Blast 1 and maybe add 2 grade 3s to your hand, one being top idol, one being the other grade 3 Arusha, is really cool in and of itself because just being able to streamline your ride sequence and being able to guarantee the ride that you want depending on how things pan out is really, really cool and adds a lot of consistency to the deck, and you'll understand better why it's important to have those once we get to the future card, the next 2 cards, which is Arusha herself and Pacifica herself. So let's go ahead and move on to that one. And we got Refined Poiser Arusha. Her skill is auto on Vanguard or Rear Guard, on place, counterblast 1. Search up to 1 top idol Pacifica from your deck or drop zone, reveal it and add it to your hand. If you search your deck, shuffle it. So if you go into Elio first and you get the top idol, and then you can go into Arusha, or if you ride the top idol that you have and then call out Arusha, you can freely get the other Pacifica to your hand, which is important for her skill, which I'll get into in a little bit. But being able to quickly get through your deck and have at least 2 Pacificas is really important for what she functions as, and this kind of just adds more consistency and refinement. pun not intended, but definitely appreciate it. Being able to refine what your deck's trying to do and get that consistency going to be able to start pumping out power through Pacifica herself. So really invited option to use for your deck if you're playing Pacifica. And likely once you see the skill of Pacifica, you're probably not going to see other Pacificas in standard. So we get to that now. And in her ability says act on Vanguard once per turn, Soul Blast 1, and you activate all the following effects based off the number of Pacifica rear guards you have. So if you have 1 or more during your turn, the Vanguard Pacifica gets +10 power and +1 drive. 2 or more, you gain 2 imaginary gift forces. And then if you have 3 or more during your turn, if your opponent will call a card from their hand to the guard circle, they must call 3 or more at a time. So incredible scaling. And that's why I said you're probably not going to see more than one Pacifica here in standard. I would definitely be very surprised if they add something that functions as Pacifica on rear guard, or an additional Pacifica like the other Pacificas from previous sets, just because what she does by scaling just by 3 rear guards is incredibly insane. But that does mean in premium, if you go first and you ride to grade 3 before your opponent does, which is the case in most cases outside of superior riding, you can very easily get 3 rearguard Pacificas and then beat your opponent down by making them call 3 from hand. So what that means is if you ride to grade 3 and use force 2, then you can spread force 2s across to your other 2 rearguard in the front row. And then from there, you can pressure your opponent down by making all your attacks be 3 cards from hand to guard. And if you have impressive early game by putting them to like 3 damage or something like that before you get to your grade 3, you can just present lethal, because just to be able to guard all the attacks, you need to maybe have at least 6 cards in hand, just because they can take 1 and then have to guard the other 3 from hand by calling 3 cards from hand at the very least. So it ramps up really quickly, and through the likes of Elio and Arusha, you can at the very least guarantee your Vanguard Pacifica ride and get at least 1 rear guard through just those 2 effects, like without needing much effort at all. And from there, you can get the +10 in the drive, so you get additional +10 on top of the +10 you got from Elio and through Arusha themselves. And since the cost is Soul Blast, it doesn't conflict with Arusha herself by being a counterblast cost, or by rearguard Elio after your grade 1 turn, because that's also a counterblast from there. So very, very synergistic with each other. Very impressive. People kind of said it's kind of broken. I do think it's really good. I'm not yet convinced that it's going to be super insane and super tilting to play against. Like 3 from hand is difficult to deal with, but we've seen that in the likes of hard leg from Dark Irregulars, and that hasn't been banned or restricted, or feels bad to deal with because Dark Regulars have restanding Vanguards through no Life King, so we have to deal with it that way. But that's not something that we're not used to. So it'd be interesting to see how it's handled in a Force Clan, where you can have Force 2 as opposed to having a 2-crit Vanguard through no Life King. So that'll do it for the cards. If you're a fan of Pacifica, I hope you're excited for what the reveals had to offer. I think it's really good stuff. I look forward to see how the deck shapes out in the future. And yeah, that'll do it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until the next one, peace, be easy.